My name is Harley Manifold and I am an oil painter and I've just moved to Warrnambool 6 months ago. This is a painting of a local place and I wonder if you can get it. When I moved here I had an exhibition coming up in Hillsville, so I didn't get a lot of time to paint and get to know Warrnambool as much as I'd hoped. And the few paintings that I did of Warrnambool at that time had a lot of figures in them. When I got back to Warrnambool, however, I started painting all of these nocturnal paintings and all of the figures had disappeared. And it's taken me a few months to actually realize what that's about through self-reflection. The figure in the painting had always been, in a sense, myself as the protagonist. And for years, I'd always thought heading west and towards home from Melbourne was the solution to a lot of the things I was feeling. And I realised after moving to Warrnambool that these are all of my happy, peaceful paintings. And rather than being just dark, it's all about the light and making the light glow. So these, to me, are just very peaceful and quiet paintings. This painting is actually of the Kepler Street laundromat. And I drove past it and I realised I had to paint it, the sort of lovely, cool blue light coming out with this gorgeous, warm orange paint in the foreground and the sky up above with those great big billowing clouds that are so typically Warrnambool. They just, slowly creep across the horizon. I paint in the traditional oil painting form. So I start with the very darkest colours first, and then I slowly move my way up to the lightest colours. Strangely, my favourite brushes in the studio are actually these two little brushes, and both of them are very tough on the end. And what it allows you to do, it allows you to get in there and you can scratch paint around and say you want to put this light in here. So you put the brighter light in, and then you get in there and you're like, oh yeah, you kind of move it around and you blend it into the darks. And because it's so hard, it allows you to push really hard on the canvas. Where most brushes are soft, you don't get that same sort of traction. So you can make these beautiful scratchy halos. So highly recommend holding on to your crappy brushes. I have been painting for this long. This is actually one of the first paintings I ever did as a child, and fortunately my mum kept it. And strangely, the colours are very similar. You've got your blues and your yellow, on the road line, and this beautiful orange, here. So, I don't know, maybe I've bookended my painting career and it's all over. I am going to continue making these works for the foreseeable future. I just absolutely love them. I really love looking at paintings with layers of paint on them, and you can see the process and the thought that the painters put in to building up these layers to create a 3D vision on a flat surface. You can't walk into these, but I love when an artist manages to create that illusion. That's one of my favorite things. This part of the wall, this is where I put all of the used paint, so I can just wipe my brush and keep going with the next color, and that way nothing gets muddied up. This painting is now part of the Warrnambool Art Gallery collection, which is very humbling. This is how I organize my palette. On the left we've got my palette knives, palette scraper, bits and pieces that I need, and then usually paint in order of yellow, orange, red, blues, greens, purples, and I try and keep that the same on the actual palette. But this is after a whole week of painting. This got very messy.